Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 28th regular meeting of council. Item 1, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock. Oh, sorry, 5:30. And I'd now like to call on Deputy Mayor Dornbos to read the acknowledgement.
We would like to acknowledge we are on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, and Dakota peoples. We acknowledge this is the birthplace of the Métis Nation. Through respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making, and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the agenda. May I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Pieblecorn, seconder. Councillor Murphy. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Resolve that council adopt the agenda as amended with the addition of the following items. Item 12, new business. Item 12.2, filming at airport. Item 12.3, valley fiber ditching. In camera, item 13.1, under personnel bylaw. And item 13.2, private-public partnership proposal. So all in favor, or are there any more additions or amendments to the agenda? Hearing seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Draft March 14th, 2023 council meeting minutes. Resolve the council adopt March 14th, 2023 council meeting minutes as presented. May I have a mover, please? Councillor Hunt, seconder, Tracy, Councillor Slaker. Any corrections?
I just need some clarifications on there. There was under, it was 11.1 discussion on FCM, and not that I care, we're not going to it, but there was a resolution passed at the February 2028 meeting, resolution 2023-054. So there was a resolution passed which to send 4 people to the FCM conferences, and the costs were attached to that email, the information for the FCM conference. And I understand that it's an increase of basically $600, a little bit for the room and some airfare. But the council made the decision at that point in time with the information in front of them to send 4 people. I don't understand where the discussion come from, because the minutes for this ones we're approving says after further discussion, no council members will be attending this event. So there was a resolution passed at the February 28th meeting.
Yes, and that was for the mayor, CAO, and 2 councillors, which was Councillor Mondor and Councillor Slaker.
Okay.
Brent was kind enough, went through all the costs, and we decided upon reviewing the agenda, because all the reasons were stated, because we didn't have the budget yet, the increase in costs, we're gonna relook at this when we go to Calgary. And because it's way cheaper, of course, to go to the west.
Your costs are the same, but there was a resolution passed. The cost was $600 more, so basically 15%. So we get estimates from tenders and everything else. They run 20% difference in prices, 25% contingency fees. What I'm saying is, council made the decision with the information had in front of them at their costs, and it was a certified resolution made. So.
Well, and we also, in those costs, you also, that weren't in the cost, there's the daily indemnity.
Yes,
There's
it was.
meal, there's cab fare.
They were all in those costs. I'll read them to you. Like I say, people had the information at the time, so I don't understand where this we come from. It was all in there. 5 full days of indemnities, mileage to and from Winnipeg, meals, registration fee, event tickets, cab fare, and parking for a total of $4,200. All of those costs were there. And it was voted on unanimously to send 4 people. So I don't understand where the conversation come from. And I too got some phone calls from people saying that they're disappointed that we're not going to educate ourselves and to better the RM in these kinds of conferences.
Councillor Slaker?
If memory serves me correctly, did it not come out that we were a little bit later to apply? So the rates that were quoted in that email were gone. So we looked at the next price range for hotel rooms and airfare, and that's what took it up to the next level of cost, if I remember correctly, the discussion.
I believe the hotels from low to high, they were already booked.
Correct.
So it went one step up.
Yeah.
But the discussion, Counselor Hunt, was the resolution was passed for the mayor, CAO, 2 members of council. So that's who the discussion took place between. That we are named in the resolution, and it was decided we would not be attending. We'll relook at next year. Counselor Hunt?
Councillor Monder asked, or, Councillor Dornbos asked the question, before we passed that resolution, as if these 4 people, are we sending four people? And it was agreed by the people at the council meeting that it would be 4 people, and those are the 4 people that we had chosen. So to me, that means if one person wasn't gonna go, another person could say, okay, I'll go in that person's place. We've made lots of resolutions like that over the years that send up to 4 people, because someone doesn't know who is going or who is not going. I'm just saying there's a certified resolution and people made the decision on that resolution with the numbers they had in front of them. And those numbers have increased by $600. So on $4,200, that's 15%.
Counselor Sniper?
In answer to your comment, Councillor, I had a total of 17 comments, phone calls, and text messages congratulating us for stepping back from this expensive conference simply because we realize it's in Ontario and that is a venue place. So I did keep track of that. And it was very well laid out when we discussed it. It was the mayor, the CAO, and 2 councillors.
Counselor Hunt?
But if you go back and listen to the leading up to the resolution, it had said, Councillor Dornbos had asked that question. A lot of times we have put in there up to 4 people. Put your name in afterwards. I understand. I appreciate you had 17 phone calls and text messages. But what about the other 2,500 people that live in your ward? I'm always in favor of the silent majority, people that don't talk to you. They're obviously okay with it. So I'm just saying, what do we do now? There's a certified resolution. And it should be another person if they want to go, then and maybe we cut back to 3 people then. Maybe
The
3 people
resolution,
go.
excuse me, but the resolution was named the 4 people that are attending. It didn't say anybody in place of. It said we take turns during the term. 4 were named. The decision was made between the 4 of us for all the reasons stated on the meeting. So we would not be attending. So I think this discussion is over. We gave council the update with cost, the reasons why, and end of discussion. Does anybody else have any further comments? Thank you. Okay, we had a mover and seconder for the March 14th council meeting minutes. Resolve the council adopt the March 14th council meeting minutes as presented. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 4.2, draft March 20th, 2023 committee of the whole meeting minutes. May I have a mover, please? Councillor Stryker, seconder. Councillor Peebles. Resolved that council adopt the March 20th, 2023 committee of the whole meeting minutes as presented. Any comments or any additions or any minutes? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Item 5.1, reception of delegates. Cheryl Hines, road and drainage concerns. Welcome.
I also have a PowerPoint presentation that's going to go along with what I'm going to be speaking about. So congratulations, Mayor Joyce Soul, on your recent court appeal victory. It's so nice to see you back in your rightful position as mayor.
Thank you.
My name is Cheryl Hines and I am here today representing my development, a little history. May of 2019, myself and numerous other taxpayers came before council with a signed petition of 76 signatures asking the RM to consider the repair of roads, ditches in our established development. We were told then the RM is working on the system, including one area.
Oh, sorry, one moment. There's some kind of you may have to start over because it might be on the tape is all this background.
Sure. Would you like me to start over?
We'll just wait till he gives us the okay. He's looking on his in there. Does it have something to do with the mic?
I don't believe so. I believe it's the speakers in the back of the room.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry, if you could go ahead.
We were told then the RM was working on a system, completing one area at a time before moving to the next. And we were given an example of all the progress done by past council that I would like to share with you today. Hall Road, east of Highway 9, 3.5 kilometers is paved all the way and stops on Whitetail Trail at the entrance of a private seasonal resort. Boyd Road and all roads branching off, including Grand Circle, Donahoe Crescent, Boyd Avenue, and Palmer Road have been completed, as well as Murdoch Drive. We were told we were on the 4 to 5 year plan. So we waited patiently, and it has now been 5 years. There's a new council. And to follow the RM guidelines, as taxpayers, we believe our concerns are valid, and we ask council to consider our request, respect our dedication and determination, and help improve our community and quality of life. Following our RM guidelines puts our developments next. However, we feel it is about more than being next in line, and I will share with you today. Palm Prince Road to Chesley Resort and Four Winds Road are completed, and the next is Houghton Bay Road. Houghton Bay has a seal coat that over time has deteriorated considerably, including Houghton Bay and roads branching off. Netley Place, Bayview Crescent, Park, and Ash consist of over 100 residential lots and is a total distance of less than 2 kilometers. Because our roads, ditches, culverts have been neglected and ignored by the St. Andrews RM, and little to nothing has been done to improve our development, our roads are dangerous and in desperate need of repair. Every year, there are multiple vehicles from small to large that end up in the ditch because of a sharp, steep incline curve at Bayview Crescent. The ditch is deep and there is no street line or sign that indicates the sharp curve to the road. And any amount of snow, ice, or rain make the turn almost impossible. For the people that live in the area, we are aware and use caution. However, anyone visiting or doing work in our development are at risk. Big trucks have been stuck and have had to have semi-tow trucks pull them out. The culvert is cement, and because the RM grader has clipped off huge chunks, there isn't much left, and what is left is jagged and sharp. Because of this, any vehicle stuck on the cement culvert has to be pulled out backwards or risk damaging the undercarriage of their vehicle. A concern from taxpayers is that one day the school bus will tip into the ditch and roll, a valid safety concern, and perhaps the Lord Selkirk School Division should become involved. In some areas, the ditches have become so neglected by the RM, trees have been allowed to grow up to the road, giving no indication of any ditch. In other areas, there are no culverts, or culverts have been installed at wrong elevations, preventing water from draining away from taxpayers' property. Spring melt and summer rains create overland flooding. Water has nowhere to flow and flows over the road onto homeowners' property. As taxpayers, we should have the right to have proper drainage to prevent overland flooding in a residential area. It's extremely difficult to maintain a property that is constantly having damage caused by overland flooding, and the cost can be considerable, not to mention the depreciation of property value. Another problem, this one big, environmental. Because water has nowhere to go, stagnant water can sit for weeks. Sometimes it becomes so deep, vehicles are prevented from driving into their yards. The stagnant smelly water creates mosquito infestation, contaminated water, which we feel is a huge health risk. Everyone has a well for drinking water. Road deterioration, creating huge holes and a washboard effect. All ages live in our beautiful area, but because of the conditions of our roads and ditches, it is difficult to maintain and enjoy our ditches, go for a walk, ride a bike, push a baby carriage, and prevents taxpayers like my friend and neighbor Ellie, that is 93 years of age, has lived at Bayview Crescent since 1963, from enjoying the area she lives in and being able to safely continue her daily walks and being safe enough to do so. Ellie is extremely passionate about her community and wanted to be here today to speak with council, however, was unable to attend. Imagine living in the same area, paying property taxes for almost 60 years and having no services. It doesn't sound right, does it? I question past decision of council as to the significance of paving 3.5 kilometers of Hall Road. Hall Road has fields on either side, has no developments and no homes until the very end, and very few at that. How is this more important and take priority over a development that was established over 60 years ago and has over 100 taxpayers? In my opinion, that was a bad decision, doesn't make any sense, and it's not a good look for the RM. At the end of the day, council is responsible to have good judgment in making decisions in the best interest of our community and taxpayers. I come before council today because we are optimistic that this newly elected council will see the need for necessary road repairs and maintenance, listen to our concerns and take our requests seriously, and do the necessary work that is needed. We appreciate your time, and I thank you for listening to our concerns, and I ask council to do the right thing, make the right decision, and please consider our request. Thank you. I brought with me today the petition from 2019 with 76 signatures on it. And I just want to let you know that I have let a lot of my neighbors in the area know that I am presenting here today. They are in full support and will stand behind our request. And if need be, we will petition again. Since 2019, we had some empty lots, but since then, they're either been houses moved on or in the process of being developed. So a house being built. A lot of them have driveways already in. So our population is increasing and the roads are, we encourage you, come out and have a look. As you can see from the presentation that I put together, there's a problem, and we appreciate you considering our request. Thank you.
Thank you. Have you left a copy of your presentation? Have you filed one with,
No, but I
Can
can
you
certainly,
read
if
that?
I have it here, I can give you this one for sure. Anyone have any
Council, do you have
questions?
any questions for, Simon? Go ahead.
Can we get some of those photos? I just saw those on a PowerPoint.
I can leave this here. Do you want to transfer them over and I can pick them up another time? And actually there's more, there's lots more, but I thought you got the gist of it with just these, but there are a lot more.
Thank you. Councillor Slaker?
Just curiosity, I thought when we developed areas, the developers were responsible to put the road drainage and all that kind of stuff in. Has that not been done at all?
Nothing is done. In some areas, you can't even tell there's a ditch. The road is even, there's just no water flow, and we are on Nutley Creek. So last year was a high year, the water comes up. So some people get it from both sides. There's nowhere to even pump it.
And this has been going on since 2019 and we still have new development going in there.
Yes, I have lived there for 10 years, and in that time, I haven't seen anything done in my area. And Ellie, who's 93, has lived there since 1963, has in the past been mean and tried to get something done, and nothing.
Thank you. Councillor Hunt, you have another?
Yeah, a couple of things, or quite a few things, actually. I agree with you. We need to have road upgrades, and I've been saying that when we do our budget. This is a piece of paper here that I handed in 6 or 7 years ago, and I'll get the administration to share it with you. And on that road is Park Crescent, Ash Street, and Bayview. At that time, upgrade to asphalt was $61,000. Both those roads are 550 meters long. So $60,000 is a drop in the bucket of what it costs you to do dust control in there every year and graveling the roads. There was some ditching done in there quite a few years ago. In relationship to your question, like that development is probably 50 years old. Mr. Ron Houghton did that subdivision, you know, when there was no development agreements with the municipalities. That's why we get better at stuff, because stuff doesn't get done or should have got done. So that was probably no development agreements back in those days, a lot of those areas. So this is why we need to include in our budget, another line item for road upgrades. The other thing that the last council did is they changed the policy. Now you have to put a traffic counter on these your roads. So if we go down that road with a traffic counter, roads like that will never get done because there's not enough traffic on them as compared to thoroughfare roads and that. So we have to use the analogy that it costs money to maintain that road every year, and let's put it to hard surface and keep the people happy. And I agree with that. And we need to start doing some of these road upgrades and loosen the strings of how we decide on their roads. To me, it is age. So the question on why do certain roads get done? Palmer Road was probably one of the first subdivisions on the creek, probably 7 years ago. Murdoch is a very old one, same as Grand Circle and those ones, probably all back in the 40s or 50s, so they're very, very old. And I'm not too sure what the age of this one is, but it is newer. And like I say,
Holly has lived there since 1963. She's been a permanent resident.
so anyway, so this is what we have to look at with the budget, is doing road upgrades, not only in this area, but in other areas now. And saying, and again, our spec is I've said this many a time, like, I understand they say to dig the road out 3 feet and do geotech and everything else, but these roads don't see that kind of heavyweight traffic. So the other option was, I have asked again to put in the budget, is millings. We've done some millings on some roads off of Parish Bay, and one off of Donald Road, and one on Bouchard Road. And the millings is like similar to what was done with Houghton Bay, but there's no oil added to it, so it stays a little bit more soft. We can go with Scarifier blades and take off the high spots and lay it back in. And it's the same price as gravel.
Oh, Lori, I'm not sure if I'm understanding you, but all the roads except for Houghton Bay are all gravel.
No, I understand that.
Oh, okay.
But like, and you asked about, and then comment about Hall Road. Well, Hall Road was done probably over 30 years ago. And it's the same as Tom Prince used to be a highways road, was the Department of Highways road. And
I think Hall Road has been paved recently within the last 10 years for sure, probably last 5.
again, 10 years ago, but it was always hard surface up till about 30 years ago. And what happened was we almost lost the road one spring. So rather than losing the base with the EN1, that's the product that is in it, another layer of asphalt was put over it, or you would have lost that road. So we've always done feeder roads like that feed 2 subdivisions. So yeah, the subdivisions are still gravel, but the feeder roads going to them are paved. So we need to look at that in the budget and get another line item for road upgrades.
Thank you, Councilor, but we're not discussing the budget. We're discussing the situation before.
So I
Yep,
guess,
sure,
I guess at what point in time do we say, listen, it's not a heavy traffic road? And with the policy you have for the counters and stuff like that, when do we go back and say, this is a problem that needs to be fixed, even though it's not a high traffic road, what type of money do you want to put into it?
Well, personally, I don't recall this traffic counter policy. I think perhaps Admin could pull it up, or have Sherry pull it up. And I think we should look at that and amend that.
As I look at those photos that were on screen there, and like even the water retention on the grass, like that is just crazy for mosquito breeding and all that type of stuff, and the disease that could come from mosquitoes because they're breeding there. So I do understand what you're saying, science there.
Councilor Slaker?
Councilor Hunt, why wasn't this passed 5 or 6 years ago and the money spent on that road?
Because the council at that time adopted a new road policy, and it was passed through Public Works, and I voted against it. I didn't agree with it. These roads are, and like I say, I understand you have to have a specification, but they are too great. And in that case, these roads will never get done because we're busy fixing other roads that have failed. Some of these people have had hard surface road for 20 years already, and now we're redoing the road a second time. So maybe the millings is a temporary solution to it. People will be happier. But like I say, I'll give this to administration and he can forward it to you. And like I say, this was put into Public Works 2017, 2016. And there's these are the last ones in Ward 6 that would need upgrading. And there's other ones in, I don't think Ward 1 or 2 have anything that needs.
It's been done on Oakville, but it needs to be pushed up a little bit farther, but
You know, and, you know, the end of similar subdivision here, Aspen, I think it's called, needs, Medicine Creek needs to be. Medicine Creek down. You know, so they need upgrading and that, some of them, and, it's just that, again, I know we're not talking about budget, but again, keep it in mind when we do talk about it in 2 weeks.
Counselor Slager?
Thank you very much for bringing it to new council's attention, and we will, as we are trying to do everything with our new CAO, we will give it our best. Go.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you again. Item 6, council reports. This is all new, this is ratings and bylaw. Do council members have any questions on any of their reports? Councilor Slager?
I just have a couple of things, because I know this is new to everybody, so I just want to see, make sure we're all on the same page here. I see this time around, the majority of us, I understand what the mayor sent out about it's only outside committees. I didn't know that either, so thank you for that, Mayor Sewell. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, that no matter if 2 of you go to the same meeting, you both write a form of it on your report, because I feel that that's very important. You could have a takeaway, you could have, and Scott knows me and Mr. Dornbach always disagree, so our take could be 2 totally different things on one meeting. I think that we owe the taxpayers that process, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody's following that, or if we need an amendment, or we need whatever. Councillor Hunt, I had a question about yours. You have 2 things on yours that you haven't attended yet. And my other question was the Good Roads thing. Did the Good Roads Association pay you to be on that board?
No, it's the same as, other boards. We're on the, I think Councilor Mondor is on the River Basin Board now as the Secretary Treasurer. You attend meetings and you do a little bit of extra work for them. I'm a judge, and for the matter of good roads, and was nominated 2 years ago as a life honorary member. And you know, the meeting at the like I said, and the reason I put it in there is because the AGM is before the banquet on the Monday. Anybody's willing to attend. And I do 2 days of judging. There was 5 districts, and there's 2, they tried to get a rep from a business like Brant Tractor. I judged with the gentleman from Brant Tractor last year, the manager of Brant Tractor. They used his vehicle, his mileage is paid for. I had 2 days of judging, and we judged over 136 municipalities, farmyards, home yards. As we have, as you have the right to nominate someone from our area here for the match of the Good Roads.
Councilor Slager?
Okay, so my question then is, if this Good Roads Association isn't on our list of outside council things that we've all been delegated,
Schedule A to the bylaw.
Schedule A to the bylaw, then I'm not sure how it is that the taxpayers are paying you to go to this when it's not on there. And you have not been delegated, is that the correct word? Assigned is not the right word, delegated to be on that. Like, is this something that's been going on for years, or like, how did this all come about? Because it is not, in my opinion, a taxpayer thing when it is not on the agenda that we originally set out and did as soon as we all got elected.
I got no comment. If we want to not spend any money, we might as well go home right now, because this is a valid question.
This is
an association that was developed back in 1909, promote development of good roads and networking amongst municipalities. And you haven't even gone to a conference yet, or the AGM. There's been someone from this council on good roads for 40 years, and
Okay, we'll stop
So-
this. Councilor Hunt, it's unfortunate, but we have the bylaw with Schedule A for, since I've been elected 2014. But for this latest bylaw, all of council was sent to review the bylaw, Schedule A. It's unfortunate you did not bring this up to have
Yes, it
good
is.
roads
Sorry.
listed to the agenda. So basically, you would have been needed a resolution. This was, you've never advised this to be on Schedule A.
Sorry. Can I say, it's been, like I say, it's, you've been on council when, Rob Hogg was the representative of good roads. Was it then Schedule A then?
I'd have to check that.
It
I
wasn't,
honestly
believe
don't
me.
know.
I don't know.
No.
I did do a little bit of research. I couldn't find it on anyone. Any previous council for the
Well,
last 8
unbelievable.
years.
We'll have to amend Schedule A to include. Natural good roads. So in the meantime, to comply with the bylaw, we will have to pass a resolution this evening for Councillor Hunt's attendance or anybody else that wants to attend on April 3rd.
Well, we have a group that's attending on April 3rd, Good Roads. It's part of the AMM conference, actually. And
Seeing that we passed a resolution.
yes, and STA is up for an award. We're finalists for 2 awards. Yeah, we're finalists for 2 awards, and I know lots of councils attending to support our Public Works Department.
So we need a resolution. Well, we've already passed a resolution.
Yeah, we have passed the
to attend.
resolutions. Yeah.
Okay, but we'll discuss, I've got a note here, we'll have to amend Schedule A
Mhm.
to include Manitoba Good Roads.
Yeah, I think St. Andrews has been one of the groups for leading the charge for good roads to continue to make it a viable part of AMM and you know, important part, especially for rural communities in Manitoba and keeping the process going. So we have a strong presence there.
Councillor Slager?
I don't have a problem with any of that. What I have the issue with is this council, I want things going and being done correctly. And if this came to my mind with, it's not on the schedule. So why, so then my first question is, so does Good Roads pay you? Because Red River Planning doesn't pay for me to go to Red River Planning. So this is all a learning process. But again, I don't want to keep going backwards. I want everything above board and I want it done correct. That's my point here.
So, okay, Councillor Mondra?
Well, this was never brought to our attention at the beginning when we were first elected either in regards to committee. We, all of us never got the opportunity to maybe want to go on.
Well, yes, it's unfortunate, Councillor Hunt, you should have caught that. I apologize because I never even thought about it, in all honesty.
That's all I want to say.
So which is why I included it in there, so people can attend. If you're going to the banquet, that's why the AGM is at 3 o'clock before the banquet. It is correct, we're receiving 2 awards, and there's a possibility we could receive a 3rd award.
Thank you,
Because
but the point is, you could have brought this up when we were reviewing the bylaw, to review the bylaw.
shoulda, woulda, coulda, I'm sorry, it hasn't been on there for ever since I've been on council, which is 21 years now. And then we're talking about that, you might as well slap my wrist for the other one then, which is the Red River Floodway
We'll be getting
Authority.
into that one.
Okay.
Councillor Slager, do you have any more comments? Or anybody else?
So this, so for Councillor Hunt to be going, it is already part of the AMF.
Yes,
Okay,
and then
so
we'll
there's
just
no-
have to amend the schedule to add Good Roads.
Okay, so there's no problem with Councillor Hunt.
Councillor Slager.
Councillor Hunt, one more question. Your report shows John Q board meeting Zoom. That's it. Is there like not anything else that could be added to that, or how does that work?
No.
And why is that?
You know the reason why. I'll leave it at that.
What is I'm sorry, I don't know the reason why. What is the
Councillor
reason?
Slager's new. We have 5 new members here.
She heard all about it. John Q is an organization that is similar.
Government?
No, it's not. It's board members from different municipalities, and it's a group that is where the daycare come from. So there was some discussion about the daycare. We have to come up with a piece of land about that. And we haven't done that yet, and we need to select a piece of land and tell them how we're going to service it. So
But that still doesn't answer, I got that part, but you went to a meeting on the third, what did you do there? How long was it for, like, what was the meeting
Does
about?
any other but person have their hours of how long a meeting goes on for?
I did.
Not in your report, it doesn't. Are you attacking me or like, say you're trying to
No,
put me on the
Counselor Hunt,
spot?
I'm trying to get everybody on board to be above board, and I want all of us doing it the same going forward, and with the learning curve, I apologize that frustrates you, but I just, it's the way I am, and that's what I'm looking to do, that's why I came into this job.
Deputy Mayor Durbus.
Okay, so before this gets a little bit out of hand here, John Q has a non-disclosure agreement that requires people to keep things on the down low a little bit, just like St. Andrews Airport has the same thing. If you look at my report, St. Andrews Airport, there's stuff in there that I can't say, but I tried to put in what I could say.
I
So
picked
it's
that up.
possible that Councillor Hunt is not able to say some things because it could have all been about stuff that I'm not supposed to talk about. So
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with the non-disclosure agreement for the right purposes, so I just don't want this to get any further than it really needs to.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay. Any further comment? I would just ask again, I had sent everyone an email, you did a great job on these reports. That again, this is a report of what you have attended, you can't include future comments. Like that should have been in addition to today's agenda. Not in a report for an event that hasn't happened. To be in compliance with bylaw. Go
You
ahead.
use the word can. Where does it say that in the bylaw? It talks about committee reports. It doesn't say, like, to me, it's better information. The more you're gonna supply to somebody. Well, and I appreciate the questions you're asking. Now, if I wouldn't have put that in there, you wouldn't have asked those questions until it's been said and done and gone already.
Well, that.
I'm the
would've
one
been
trying to
up
be upfront.
It would have been that would have been up to you to ask that to be added to the agenda. To inform council, because our committee reports are taking place at the same time a council meeting is the last Tuesday of every month. I just have one comment. Could you please refresh memory on March 30th, you're going to be attending the Red River Operation Advisory Board meeting. Could you refresh my memory on what that's about? Because that's not listed on our Schedule A item.
So 4 years ago, I was put on that board by the previous council. Brian Nickel from Red River Planning used to be on that board. Red River Planning figured that they didn't have any place on that board. That board meets once a year prior to floodway operation. And I said I will send out the agenda when I get it to tomorrow. It just talks about floodway operation at what CFS means cubic feet per second that they will be operating the floodway at, and when they think it'll be needed to be operated, and for how long.
Okay, is just so council history, I think it was well, maybe 2-3 years ago that this board came into play. In the past, what has happened, admin would write a letter signed by the mayor to the minister. If it's gonna be that high water and they're gonna put the floodway into operation. And we have written, I believe, every year to the minister. It takes 12-13 hours, once they open the floodway, to hit Petersfield Chesley. If they do open it without our notice, and if it's like an early morning photo op, the water ends up hitting our residents during the night. And our fire departments have, at one point, I think, evacuated. It's all done in the dark. So the letter that goes to the minister is stating all this and asking that we be notified and to do not open the gates until the latest they can towards late day or early evening. So that's why I know when you're right, Red River Planning, I remember that opted out of it. So to me, this meeting, like no counselor can tell the province how to operate. I mean, we can send the letter out hoping they're gonna, and they have complied with our request. So to me, this is just a duplication of all the province is very good at updating us. And Sherry with the EMO and everything exactly about the CSO and how many flows and times, everything will get constant updates. So I don't know if this board meeting, it's just appears to me to be a duplication of events. Councillor Hunt.
Well, it's not, because this was the agenda from last year, discussion of floodway operations scenario, discussion of city of Winnipeg flood protection measures, roundtable discussion. So in the 3 years I've been on it, I brought up around the roundtable. We don't have as many places that flood now, as they've been flood proof, they've been bought out, they have been mitigated. So, unless the floodway is being opened when there is possibility of an ice dam, then we're clear and free. So hopefully happens, and they have to open the floodway at a certain time because if there's ice in the channel when they open it. So as soon as the ice is gone, they try to open it so that no other ice gets in there, because they don't want ice hitting the bridges. There always updates to the board membership, updates to the notification list. Let me look at the list here. There's like 80 people on this here board.
Counselor Slater, well, Counselor, I was looking for this, Counselor Slater.
Well, once again, it wasn't put on our schedule A. As something that once a year, 10 times a year, whatever. It's not on the schedule A.
Counselor Hunt?
It's once a year for 1 hour Zoom meeting.
It's,
Do you want me to vote it or not?
it's the process.
Well, we
Again,
still need a
sorry.
resolution, and what my concern is. there was
Don't worry, I won't
election.
charge for it. Don't worry your head.
That's
about it.
not the issue.
Yes, it is the issue. That's obviously what the issue is around here.
That's
It's
your
about
issue.
money. It's about the dollars.
Counselor Hunt, point of order. That's your
Exactly.
issue. That has
No,
not
no,
been brought up
Not
here.
me.
The issue I'm having, the concern I've got, there was an election. We have new members of council who might have liked the opportunity. You had this come up on our agenda to attend. Just because any one of us have been here for years and have been on the same board, it was an election, it's new people. It just doesn't carry forward for the next number of years. So for you to attend in any event, to be in accordance with the bylaw, council's agreeable, for Counselor Hunt to attend, we will need a resolution of council.
Like I said, don't worry about it. I won't charge for it. It's 1 hour.
That's not the issue, Counselor Hunt.
Obviously, it is the issue here. Sorry, but I
We'll
don't see
stop
it any
this.
other way.
That's your opinion.
Wow.
Okay. So item 6.6, be it resolved, Counselor Hunt be authorized to attend the Red River Operation Advisory Board meeting on March 30th. Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Dornbos, seconder. Counselor Marecki. Any other comments? All in favor? Those opposed? Carried. It's always matter if you did, yes, yeah, because it was okay, thank you. Any further comments on reports? Okay, bylaws and policies, item 7. 7.1, policy number GEN 36, abuse and molestation. May I have a mover, please? Counselor Feeblecorn, seconder. Counselor Slater. My only comment to this, council, everything was attached that we discussed. This was at the last count meeting. It's required by insurance. Anybody have any further questions? And then be it resolved, council adopt policy GEN 36, abuse and molestation as presented. We have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Carried. Two. Item 8.1, March 24th, 2023, check detail report. May I have a mover, please? Counselor Feeblecorn, seconder, Counselor Mondor. Be resolved, council approve the March 24th, 2023 check detail report as presented. Thank you. Sorry, any comments or questions? Counselor Slater?
I just want everyone to know that I sent in a list of 12 different inquiries of the check. And we did get clarification back from those questions after council all came together. Pooled our questions and they've been sent in and answered to satisfaction of.
Thank you, Counselor Mondor.
I'd just like to still make the comment that As far as I'm concerned, there's not enough detail in this report of the checks. We've been requesting this from day one, and I thought we had kind of nipped it in the butt in the last couple of check details, and this one seems to be the same without any detail, just shop supplies, whatever. And I hope that we can change that and amend things for the future. So we don't have to ask so many questions and so many emails have to go back and forth, and it's a lot of wasted time by all of us, you know, and that's all I really would like to say about it.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Brent. You know, I've asked him to just attach a copy of the credit card statement. Because that's what always used to be done. And that may stop all these big numbers of questions. I know I check everything when I sign the checks. I know you release a check, you know.
So this is accounts payable checks. And you're talking about credit cards.
Oh, that's on our check listing, the credit card, Calabria, that's one of the checks.
Is that what you're looking for more?
There's some,
Okay.
Canadian Tire stuff that just says,
Yeah, there's many different areas where it just says shop supplies or whatever.
And would you like us to list there all the shop supplies we use?
Well, when I have asked that question in the past, it's been, you know, different things. It's not just been shop supplies. It's been, you know, specific parts and things like that. So it would give us a little bit more detail as to what these items are.
So we would go through the invoices and pull off the invoices.
Yeah, because if I'm looking at this and I'm looking at shop supplies, like I calculated out a couple months ago, there was like $2,500 in shop supplies. That's an awful lot of rags and WD-40, you know.
I don't know if it's all WD-40.
Well, I'm just,
Okay, I
know what I mean.
Sure.
before we go any further, Brent, I do agree,
Mhm.
but at what point in time do we say, you just gotta trust the system? You can ask for every nut and bolt that comes through for 30 cents, 60
Well,
cents. whatever it is.
that's why I just kind of put a general.
I know.
I didn't specifically name things this time around. I just kind of just said I would just like, hopefully in the future, have a little bit more detail. Yeah, maybe we could cap it at a certain dollar amount. That might be a good idea.
If we can put some definitions around, you know, specific kind of, it's shop supplies, maybe we could supply the invoices for shop supplies if we see a number. I mean.
Like, I don't want to be nitpicky here, but I just.
So what happens is this is an automatic system, right? So you'll type in a description. And when the check runs done, the description comes out. Otherwise, you have to manually go in, find the invoice, and then, you know, key in all the descriptions. So I like that idea of giving more information, but let's wrap our heads around an easier way of giving it than keyboard, you know, pulling an invoice and then going through the invoice and keying in descriptions, right? That would be, I think there's better time to be spent. So let me see how we can do this to satisfy council and the residents.
Counselor Sutton?
I just want to say that it has come a long way. It really
Yeah.
has. I think we all know that. I used to send 20, 25 questions. I'm down to 12 now. But there are, I think, certain things like Councilor Mondor and Mayor Gould is saying, simple things, attach the credit card statement. That ends all of that. There's simple little things that can be very easily attached and done. So, thank you. We get where you're going. Yeah, I agree. We don't need to see 9 million pieces of shop stuff, and I think we're just all still trying to find our own comfort level within everything, right? So you'll have to forgive us, but we do tend to ask a lot of questions.
I hear what council's saying. We're here to serve council and the community.
Okay, thank you. Anything further?
I have just one question. It's more of just a comment. You have, the city of Winnipeg, given them a considerable amount of money or a check with neighborhood of around $300,000. It's, for the sewer charge. It says fourth quarter. Are these always equal payments or does it fluctuate?
And it fluctuates, depends how many people are hooking up. 'Cause we have to pay them that, what was it called? Is that the participation fee or
Yeah.
the other one? Yeah,
So this is a participation fee?
that's paid for by the residents when they hook up to the system. In accordance with the contract.
Right, okay.
At the year end, that year end fee is bigger than other quarterly fees you'll see,
Mhm.
but we can break that down for you.
No, it's just, I was just curious,
Yeah.
if it was consistent throughout the quarters.
Yeah, it will vary by the number of people, yeah. Okay, so resolve the council approve the March 24th check detail report as presented. All in favor? Carried. Councilman Munder, you've asked for a brief recess.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Let the minute show me. Councilor Mon for a second, please stay. Okay. Thank you. Item 10, correspondence for information. Does council have any comments on the two items on the agenda? Okay, if I may, for 10.2 EMO approval of arms annual emergency plan submission with attached a letter from the, on behalf of the deputy minister, and I just would like to thank Sherry and the staff all involved for putting this plan together, because it's a lot of work. It's a huge document. They did an excellent job. Thank you. Next item, item 12.1. Councillor Hunt.
New business or old? Unfinished, I guess.
Oh,
No, pardon me, I'll wait till you go to the up to, sorry.
Item 12, new business, 12.1, check signing authority resolution. May I have a mover, please? Councilor Schlenker, seconder, Councilor Mareki. Resolve the following persons be named as check signing authorities for the Arm of St. Andrews. One of either Mayor Joyce Sewell or Deputy Mayor Ken Dornbos, and one of either CAO Brent Linick, Deputy CAO Lisa McLean, or Chief Financial Officer Tim Scam. Any comments or questions?
Mayor Saul just wanted to explain why we're doing this resolution, that inquiry today. So, my policy is CAO is that the CAO will always be signing the checks and it's a separation of duties. So at the department level, the PO is done and the invoices is put out, to the department, then it comes to our accounts payable, and our accounts payable processes it. And then the checks are processed, and I like, the mayor and the CAO are your final look at the checks and the process. So your final protection and separation of duty. So the policy is the CAO, so I should always see those checks before they go out unless I'm not here, and then the mayor. So that's your final look at what's being paid before council sees it on the check register. Why we're putting the CFO on there is we had run into a situation where there was no deputy CAO or CAO here from November to January. So I've asked for in the resolution to include our CFO just to make sure that we have a third party to sign. But I just want to assure council, unless I'm not available physically, that I will be signing the checks.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Item 12.2, filming at airport. This is an update. It just happened late yesterday afternoon. No resolution is required. And for residents watching, so you know, this filming company has been in discussion with the airport. They leave the airport for 1 day, and it complies with our zoning bylaw to shoot a scene for a movie. They were just advised Monday morning by that, because it's a non-aviation activity, it needs council's blessing. council's approval. So, the questions have come in from a couple of you, were included the insurance. This is all, they're gonna have their own EMT personnel on site, they follow the regulations. They have asked, the abandoned runway be cleared and then the road going in, Tower Road, so they can have parking. An email was received just before I left for the meeting to give everybody, now they're hoping for more snow to melt. So it's going to take place on April the 11th. We are being reimbursed,
$500.
$500. They're going, there's an agreement Brent is reviewing. I think this is a great opportunity to open the door for more films to be shot in RRM.
If I can just add to that, I was down talking to folks, some folks at Big Sky in November. And just making them aware that we're open for business. And I think that we should pursue that a little bit more than we have. How, I don't know, but perhaps maybe a delegation or some sort of a presentation to them, highlighting the things that St. Andrews have. You know, the special things like the, for example, the Lockwood Bridge, you can use that in films, obviously the airport, that in films, all those places. We want to entertain that, or if you want myself or someone else to go down there and rattle a few cages, I think I'd be up for it.
And I bet you could do it. Awesome job. I know we have great areas here that, you know, Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something that we can value around it.
thank you. Council Monder?
There was already a couple movies shot in St. Andrews and West St. Paul. They used the Rivercrest Hotel and they've used Terra House and Larders last winter. So, and even they've been parked at the Selkirk, that barn at the hockey rink for a number of years. So I think we're on their radar.
We could be more on the radar. Yeah.
Councilor Hunt?
There's nothing being filmed there though, they're just using for practice, the filming is being done in Brazil.
For which movie are you talking?
The one with this request is for.
Yeah, it's just a,
They just need to practice, the stunt that they're gonna do when they're filming it in Brazil.
Well, that's fine. They're still opening the door.
Yep.
Everybody's happy. Council Monder, do you have a comment?
or perhaps again, maybe Brent could fire them off a letter or something to say, hey, we're open for business, this is what we got, and let's go.
Right, good idea. No further discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so that was the updated that. Item 12.3, Valley Fiber ditching concerns. I asked this be added because I've gotten a few calls. I believe Councillor Feeblecorn, then Councillor Hunt's been getting calls because Valley Fiber, I mean, it's great they're putting in the internet, but it seems like concerns I've had raised is they're one spot, they're not finishing one area at a time, they're all over. And of raised dirt from a culvert, it's like, when are they will be restoring it, but as Councillor Santino said, in 2 years. But they're in areas where we have flooding and the farmers are very concerned. So, thank you to our CL Brent, who will be meeting with somebody from Valley Fiber
Yes.
about the concerns. Yeah, because some of those farmlands, that's a bad area. Councillor,
No, you have to.
Yeah, I just wanted to just to highlight the area of the concerns that I've had is around the Cloverdale Road area. It's not so much the issue with Valley Fiber itself, but the contracting companies that they've been using. The concern is the disturbance in the trenching in the bottom of the ditches that's created mounds of, move the earth and mounds of soil that, the farmers have concerns regarding the flow of water come the springtime. I know Public Works has looked at the ditches, but in terms of, the snow kind of blowing in and not being able to really see the disturbances, that were done prior to some of these snowfalls. Just curious in terms of, if there is issues that arise and repairs that need to be done by Public Works, is that something that is billed to Valley Fiber if we have to do work for that?
Yes, Counselor, we would be billing Valley Fiber if we have to go in.
Deputy Mayor Donbass?
Okay, I'm not sure about the 2-year turnaround time. Councilor, I do nothing about that.
No. I think the comments was this is the 3rd summer they'll be working on it, so they've been, restricted to weather and I guess contractors. They've got numerous contractors out here doing work, doing the install. And, like I said, in the email I sent, there was a resolution passed that they have to do any remediation work. So that will be taken care of. We have to hold them to task on that. Any of the ones I've had calls on, not to do with any drainage issues, more to with cutting grass in their ditch and that, and holding back some water maybe in the summertime that it can't drain completely and a bit wet. But I think the issues were brought up by Councillor Feeblecorn, I think will, if it's this much mud in there, it's not going to affect the runoff too much, and right now it's frozen, so nothing you can really do with it.
It's not an isolated just to our end. It's happening where
All
we're
over.
putting it in. Yeah, it's
Winnipeg Beach and
Yeah, if I could just say something, Valley Fiber got a contract for, I think it's 176 million to install fiber optic throughout Manitoba, 27 million in the R of St. Andrews. It's inevitable, you're digging in winter. You just can't put frozen mud back in the hole. It just doesn't fit.
I just don't
And
want,
it's not gonna fit for quite a number of years.
I just don't want this to be a problem down the road in Ward 5 and Ward 6 and part of Ward 3 as well. So
Well, we'll just have to, deal with the situation as it arises, I would think.
Councillor Slaker?
The only thing I took away from all these emails that went around today wonderfully is I want to make sure that when we're having taxpayers call us about any water stuff whatsoever, we all point to everyone towards the service tracker, because we need to start promoting that, number one. Number two, this is our turn to see how well this works, and we have the Public Works person, blah, blah, blah. Did we get anywhere further in the conversation about having that service tracker move more central front of our web page? Do you remember that conversation?
It was supposed to be a pop-up that happens as soon as you go to the website. We were thinking maybe like a pop-up.
If we could, if that's gonna happen, I love that idea, but that needs to happen in the next couple of weeks, if that's possible, otherwise, but very strongly, I believe we must take the complaint, listen to it. If they're really old, for goodness sakes, fill it in, it's not the end of the world. But let's get everything registered so that we have a clear picture of who's gonna have issues, who's having issues, and whether the service tracker is actually of value to our RM or it's not. That's kind of my thought. I was busy.
Any further comments? Apologize, I've got a really bad truck. Okay, thank you. Now is in camera.
I got one item for your business.
Oh, Councillor Hunt.
So, I think we all got an email yesterday from EMM for district elections. And, I would like to ask council support. I would like to run for Interlake director. 10 years ago, there was a rural director and an urban director. They did away with that and just had it open so anyone could run. Right now, we have 2 urban directors. We have one from the city of Selkirk and one from the city of Stonewall. I ran 4 years ago for the position and was defeated by the mayor of St. Laurent. She did an excellent job over the 4 years, and brought rural concerns to AMM, you know, my experience with working with governments over the past 20 years and a relationship with government, I think I'd be a good fit for this position. So would ask council support in nomination for this and it's on June the 6th, June the 19th is the Interlake District date. Before the question is asked, how much money is this going to cost the RM? It will not cost us any money because it'll actually save us money because AMM pays the directors when there's a conference, they pay your time there as well as your hotel room. So attendance at the AMM convention in November and the one we're attending next week would not cost the RM nothing. So I need to be nominated by the RM. I would like your support, or someone else from the Interlake District would nominate the person, and then the election is on the June 19th. We're just making a comment. No.
Councilor Slager?
Is this the same thing that Kelly Cook is?
Yes.
So is he coming off or
No.
you're joining?
No, every 2 years there's an election. So every 2 years there's an election like there was 2 years ago and 4 years ago when I ran. And there was 3 of us that ran, and Kelly and Carol Smith were nominated, and I didn't run 2 years ago. So I think I bring good knowledge to the board, and like I say, 10 years ago, there was an urban director and a rural director from all of the districts, and I think there's 5 districts, maybe 7. Anyway, and I think we need some rural representation, and I think with my experience, and it would be a good fit, and like I say, it would save the RM money if that's
And
what
how
we
do
look
we
at.
do that?
There's a nomination form, yeah, it's attached to it, and it just says that, you know, someone from council has to nominate, and then the person being nominated has to accept. And I think there is 5 board meetings a year, 2 or 3 of them were by Zoom, and then the conference that we have this next week, as well as the November conference. So I think it bodes the Interlake rural region well that they have a rural director on it. So I'm just bringing it up now because we just received the email yesterday. So something to think about, please.
Okay, thank you for letting us know. So now, this is, at the beginning of the meeting, there was an agenda, the adoption of the agenda. It was moved by Councilor Peoplecorn and seconded by Councilor Naraki. And that's when we have the additions. Are the mover and seconder all right with this addition by Councilor Hunt? To amending the agenda?
Okay, I appreciate that. It's just that the email you sent to us yesterday that we can bring forward under next meeting or under new rural business. I just thought I would bring it up while it's fresh in our minds, so.
Yes, thank you. My comment is that in future, this could be brought up under adoption of the agenda when the other amendments are made.
Okay.
So the mover and seconder are okay with that? Great, thank you, and that's submitted for information. I will ask Deputy Mayor Dornbos to read the in-camera resolution.
Agenda item number 13, in camera, resolve that council move in camera at 6:43 PM to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages in respecting which discussed in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations, as well as legal and personnel issues. And be it further resolved that the members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is close to the public under subsection 152.3, and that the committee decides to keep confidential until the matter is discussed at a meeting of the council or a committee conducted in public. Remover, please. Councilor Hunt, Seconder, Councilor Steiger. All in favor?
Carried. Thank you. We resolve the council move out of in camera at 7:26 PM. May I have a mover, please? Councilor Sliker, seconder, Deputy Mayor Dornbos, all in favor? Carried. There are no resolutions coming from out of in camera. So then therefore be it resolved, the meeting be adjourned at 7:26 PM. We have a mover, please. Counselor Mondar, secondar. Deputy Mayor Dornbos. All in favor? Carried. Good night, everyone. Great meeting. Thank you.
Good, we're done already.
So smart on my clapping, you guys, right?